Welcome to our predictions for the Catalunya GP, round 6 of the current MotoGP season. Let's start with our prediction for the star of the MotoGP weekend. The Catalan GP at the Barcelona circuit is the closest race to home for several riders. Think of Viñales, the Marquez brothers, and Espargaro. All these riders have good equipment capable of winning a race, as has been proven. Last year, Aprilia dominated the race with Espargaro as the eventual winner and Viñales finishing second. However, for the star of the Catalan GP, we are betting on Marc Marquez as the star of the weekend. The Spaniard has finished second twice in a row, and during the last race weekend in France, he fought his way forward after starting 13th. For his home race in Catalunya, he will be more determined than ever to secure his first victory on Ducati, and with his current form and confidence, we see him doing it. Then for the worst MotoGP performer of the weekend, here, we are betting on Espargaro. As we just mentioned, the Catalan convincingly and dominantly won the race last year. However, this season he has had a tough start and has not made much of an impression. He is not competing for podium places, let alone victories. So, although this is his home race and he won here last year, we do not expect him to finish in the top 6 this weekend. For the older Espargaro brother, this year seems to be wearing him down, and he appears past his prime. He seems to complain more about his competitors than to take responsibility for his own performance. We do not expect a great performance from him in his home race, but of course, we would be happy to be surprised and would gladly see him smile with a success in his home race. Next, the star of the Moto3 this weekend. In Moto3, it's challenging because it's always so close, and you never know which way it will go. Holgado, Veyer, and especially David Alonso seem to be the 3 strongest riders, with the Colombian showing the most conviction. But since it is expected that these 3 will fight for the win or at least a podium, we are going for a more surprising name. We are picking Adrian Fernandez, the younger brother of Trackhouse rider Raul Fernandez. Adrian has started the season strong, and a good result seems to be on the horizon. We are placing him as the shining star for Moto3, because we believe he will manage to get himself on the podium at the Catalan GP. In Moto2, there are many options to choose from for the star of the weekend. The last 2 of 3 races were convincingly won by the championship leader Sergio Garcia, and who can stop him from taking his 3rd win of the season? But he's not the only hot contender in Moto2. Kane had a dramatic start in Le Mans, but fought his way forward, only to lose the podium at the end. Alonso Lopez was in good form throughout the race and finished on the podium, but all of them had to yield to Sergio Garcia. Fermin Aldeguer is moving to MotoGP after this season and was the big title favorite before the season. Last year the race was won by Jake Dixon, but the Brit hasn't had the best start to the season, and we don't see him turning it around suddenly for Catalunya. That being said, we are picking Albert Arenas as the shining star in Moto2. Arenas hails from Girona near Barcelona and has had an average season so far. We see the Catalan GP as the race this season where Arenas will secure his 2nd Moto2 podium. Now, let's move on to our predictions for the MotoGP weekend. As always, the MotoGP qualifying will be incredibly close. Every race weekend, we see excitement and thrills with times that are incredibly close to each other. But there is one man who repeatedly proves he can pull off an incredibly fast lap regardless of the conditions, and that is Jorge Martin. Martin dominated the French GP with pole position, a sprint victory, and the win in the main race after a fantastic duel with Bagnaia. Despite expecting great performances from Marc Marquez and riders like Viñales, Bagnaia, and Acosta, our feeling is that the championship leader will ultimately secure that first starting position. Now for the sprint race, it's always challenging to predict how a MotoGP weekend will unfold, and that's the beauty of this sport. But we'll give it a try for fun. For 3rd place in the sprint race, we pick Pedro Acosta. After 2 less impressive weekends following his brilliant start, including his first crash in Le Mans, the Spanish rookie will be seeking redemption in the sprint race. Without having to worry about tire management, he can use his aggression to fight his way to the final podium spot. For 2nd place, we're going with Jorge Martin. He has been on the podium in every sprint race this season, and we see no reason why that won't happen again in Catalunya. The only reason Martin won't win the sprint race is because of the man we expect to be unleashed, the aforementioned Marc Marquez. In Le Mans, Marquez showed incredible race pace in both races, something we expect to see again in Catalunya. As long as he doesn't make any mistakes in qualifying, we don't see anyone stopping him. And now for the main race in Catalunya, where managing the tires well will play a significant role, along with, of course, a good race pace. In third place, we're going for Martin. He doesn't need to take risks due to his championship lead, and we expect him, as he himself says, to have matured and to opt for points rather than victory. As the third place suggests, we expect there to be 2 men faster than Martin. In second place, we're betting on Batmav. As mentioned earlier, Aprilia was very strong here last year, and this year we see a new Viñales who always seems to be able to extract the maximum from the Aprilia. The speed of the Aprilia at Catalunya, combined with Viñales in form, leads us to expect that he will drive to a neat second place with a strong race pace in the long main race. Then there can be only 1 man left for the victory, and as perhaps not surprising, we're betting on Marc Marquez here again. The determined living legend is feeling good and will give everything for victory at his home race. And that concludes our predictions for the Catalunya GP. Share your top 3 in the comments below the video, and thanks for watching. Until the next video.